Okay, today we're really diving into emergency medical services. We're going to look closely at ambulance transport operations, basically, the whole logistical side of things.
Yeah, it's more than just the flashing lights. We're aiming to unpack the incredible complexity involved in getting a patient safely from one place to another.
Right. Everything from getting the vehicle ready to the actual driving, which can be pretty high stakes,
Yeah.
and even specialized transport like helicopters.
Exactly. And it helps to look back a bit, doesn't it? I mean, the whole idea has changed so much.
It really has. You think back to the late 1700s, Napoleon using horse-drawn carts. That was state of the art then.
And even much later, like the 1860s in the U.S., the supplies were so basic. Brandy, tourniquets, sponges. It sounds almost primitive compared to now.
Totally different universe. Our sources show today's ambulances are basically mobile ICUs. They've got defibrillators sending data straight to the hospital, video gear for airways, automated CPR machines, GPS.
It's packed with tech. And, for listeners, that six-pointed Star of Life emblem, that's your sign that it's a licensed ambulance meeting federal standards.
Good point. Okay, so let's get into this blueprint for a call.
Right. So the EMS world breaks down a typical call into 9 phases. These are purely logistical, separate from patient care itself.
9 phases.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got preparation, dispatch, en route, arrival at scene, transfer of the patient, then transport to the hospital, delivery at the hospital, and route back to the station, and finally, the post-run cleanup and restocking.
And the sources really stress that first one, the preparation phase. Why is that considered so foundational?
Well, it really boils down to standardization and readiness. Every second counts, right? So if an EMT has to waste even, say, 10 seconds hunting for a piece of equipment.
That's 10 seconds lost for the patient.
Exactly. So equipment needs to be in the same spot on every ambulance, ideally grouped by function. Like all the airway stuff should be right near the head of the stretcher.
And that brings us to the jump kit. I found this idea really interesting, the 5-minute kit. What's actually in it?
It's designed to have pretty much everything you need for those first critical 5 minutes on scene, right when you walk in the door. Think assessment tools, basic treatment gear.
But not the heavy stuff.
Right, not the portable AED or the main oxygen cylinder. Those usually stay with the ambulance or come in separately. It's meant to be portable.
Makes sense. And inside the ambulance itself, safety is huge. We don't always think about things flying around.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any hard equipment bags, monitors, even oxygen tanks has to be secured. If there's a sudden stop or, worse, a collision, unsecured items become literal projectiles. It's incredibly dangerous for everyone inside.
We should probably touch on the different ambulance types, too. People might picture just one kind, but there are specific designs, right?
Yeah, generally 3 main types based on federal specs. Type I is like a heavy-duty pickup truck cab with a separate modular box on the back.
Okay.
Type 2 is basically a standard van that's been converted. The whole body is one piece.
Right, I see those a lot.
And Type 3 is kind of a hybrid. It uses a cutaway van cab fused with a modular box, often looking a bit more integrated than the Type Y. But across all types, modern design is putting way more emphasis on crash safety, both for the driver and in the patient area.
Which ties back to that daily inspection routine. This isn't just kicking the tires, is it?
Not at all. It's rigorous. Fuel, all fluids, tires, every single light inside and out, the communication systems, and crucially, checking all the battery-operated gear every day.
Like the defibrillator.
Especially the defibrillator. The sources point out that a dead battery is the single biggest reason they fail. It seems small, but the consequences are huge.
And then after the call, the post-run phase. Cleaning is obviously key. The sources mentioned different levels.
Yes, 4 levels. Starts with basic cleaning, just removing visible dirt. Then disinfection, which kills most pathogens with chemicals. High-level disinfection is next, using stronger methods. And finally, sterilization, which kills everything, usually with heat or specific chemicals.
And you have to do them in order.
Critically, yes. You must clean thoroughly first before you can disinfect effectively. Dirt can shield the germs.
Okay, let's shift gears to the driving itself, the en route phase. The statistics here are pretty sobering.
They really are. It's arguably the most dangerous part of the job. We're talking an average of 29 fatal ambulance crashes per year over the last couple of decades, and over 1,500 injuries annually.
That's a lot higher than I would have guessed.
It highlights the core philosophy they try to instill. Speed doesn't save lives, good care does. And rule number 2, everyone inside, drivers and attendants, must be belted in, always.
But the sources mentioned a problem there, didn't they? That compliance with seatbelts, especially in the back, isn't great.
Yeah, studies show fewer than half of EMTs in the patient compartment wear restraints during emergency runs. It's a tough one. They feel they need to be mobile to treat the patient or grab gear quickly.
But the risk.
Exactly. The data is clear. Being unrestrained is a major factor in how badly EMTs get hurt in a crash. There's a real need for better solutions, or maybe just a stronger safety culture around it.
And besides physical safety, there's the mental load on the driver.
Huge factor. The driver needs tunnel vision on the road, traffic, navigation. So anything else fiddling with the GPS, managing the mobile data terminal, radio chatter that has to be handled by the other EMT, distractions are killers.
Which brings us to the lights and siren, LNS. There seems to be a real debate about how useful they actually are versus the risk.
There really is. Research consistently shows LNS saves minimal time, maybe only a minute or two over an entire trip, and doesn't significantly change patient outcomes in most cases.
But it definitely increases risk.
Dramatically. And think about the patient, someone having a heart attack, for example. The stress and anxiety from the siren could actually make things worse.
So given the limited benefit, what are the rules for using them? When is it justified?
There are basically three key principles. One, it has to be a genuine emergency according to protocol. Two, you have to use both the lights and the siren together. And three, the absolute most important one. The driver must operate with due regard for the safety of everyone else.
That phrase, due regard, seems critical, especially legally. You mentioned intersection crashes are the most common and serious.
By far. And legally, that due regard standard means when approaching a red light or stop sign, even with LNS going, the ambulance must come to a complete stop, check that it's clear, and then proceed cautiously.
So just blowing through is not okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That complete stop is what often protects the driver from liability if something goes wrong. Failing to stop basically proves a lack of due regard. Even with lights and sirens, if there's a crash, the ambulance driver is often presumed at fault initially.
Wow. And then there's the internal effect on the crew, siren syndrome.
Yeah, it's a real physiological thing. The noise, the lights, the speed, it causes an adrenaline rush, which sounds good, but it can also lead to tunnel vision, difficulty judging speed and distance, maybe even some anxiety or aggression. It affects the driver's focus.
And presumably other drivers react differently too.
Definitely. It affects everyone on the road. Staying calm and focused under that pressure is a massive part of being a safe emergency driver.
One other point from the sources, police escorts are generally discouraged. Why is that?
It creates a really dangerous situation.
Mm-hmm.
Other drivers hear a siren, see the police car go by, and might assume that's the only emergency vehicle. Then they pull out.
Right into the path of the ambulance following behind.
Exactly. It happens way too often. It's generally much safer for the ambulance to navigate traffic on its own.
Okay, so what happens when ground transport just isn't fast enough or possible? That's where air ambulances, medevacs come in?
That's right. They're used for speed, essentially. Getting patients quickly to specialized centers, trauma, stroke, burns, or when the terrain is just impossible for a grand ambulance, like in mountains or remote areas.
And there are two main types, right? Planes and helicopters.
Correct. You've got fixed wing, which are airplanes typically for longer trips between hospitals, say 200 miles or more, and then rotary wing helicopters for shorter distances. Helicopters can often land closer to the scene and frequently carry highly specialized crews who can provide advanced care right there.
Makes sense. And deciding to call for one isn't taken lightly.
No, there are strict criteria. Usually it's when ground transport time is just too long given the patient's condition, or if they need very specific treatment that's only available far away, or, like we said, if ground access is blocked. It's always a time-critical calculation.
And if a helicopter is coming, setting up a safe landing zone, an LZ, is a huge responsibility for the ground crew. What does that involve?
Safety is paramount. The LZ needs to be flat, clear of any loose debris. No trash, no sheets, no flares, nothing that can get sucked into the rotors or engine. Size-wise, minimum 60 by 60 feet, but 100 by 100 feet is recommended if possible.
And interacting with the helicopter itself requires extreme caution.
Absolutely extreme. Those main rotor blades spin fast, but they also flex downwards and can dip as low as 4 feet off the ground. So you always approach crouching low, and only from the front, where the pilot can see you roughly between the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock positions relative to the nose.
And the back is a definite no-go zone.
Completely off limits. The tail rotor spins so fast it's practically invisible, and it's incredibly dangerous. Never ever go near the tail of a running helicopter. You need total focus when that aircraft is hot on the ground.
So pulling all this together, what we've really seen is that EMS transport isn't just driving fast, it's this incredibly detailed logistical process.
It really is. Every step, from checking the batteries in the morning to navigating that tricky intersection, requires discipline, focus, and adherence to procedure, especially for the driver, bearing that weight of due regard.
Yeah, that due regard concept is key. Even with lights and sirens, caution and defensive driving, like that full stop at intersections, are what truly matter for safety and liability.
Precisely. The goal isn't just speed, it's the safe delivery of the patient and crew. Prioritizing caution is paramount.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, the risks of speed, the unavoidable distractions from necessary tech like GPS and data terminals, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's next? What future technologies, maybe in vehicle automation or smart traffic systems, could potentially help EMS respond urgently while actually reducing the need for high speed, high risk driving? Something for you to think about.